You only get one shot in life to make something of yourself. Yes, crypto is a digital asset revolution, but we're also in a content creation revolution. Everybody's going to have a YouTube channel, TikTok channel, whatever it is in the future. Everybody. So you might as well get started now. It's worth it.
Hi guys, welcome to Behind the Creation, where I interview founders, core contributors, and leading members within the crypto space. Today on the show, I have a really special guest, Aaron Arnold from Altcoin Daily. Welcome, Aaron.
Michael, so excited to be here. I have some stories to share with you. Now, you already interviewed my brother, the other half of Altcoin Daily. His video's up now. His was great. Check that out. But I want to do even bigger numbers than my brother. So guys, smash the like out of this video, share it on your social media, and hopefully I bring it in this interview.
Let's get the competition going, right? Like between the two brothers. Let's see who wins.
Exactly.
So to kind of like kickstart off things, just for the audience and everything, I want to learn about you and kind of like how it was growing up. So kind of tell me a little bit about your background growing up in Ohio.
Totally. And for the diehard fans of this podcast, I mean, maybe some of my stories might overlap. Both me and Austin, born in the same place, Cleveland, Ohio, grew up in the suburbs. I mean, so we grew up like in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. And so there was country, there was farmland. Of course, there was the city. Cleveland back then was the second poorest big city in the country. So, but plenty of fun and plenty of good things growing up, I guess. Yeah, I grew up in like a middle-class family. Austin told you how our dad was a lawyer, then switched to marketing and entrepreneurship. Yeah.
So was it kind of like similar struggles, kind of like within school? Like, were you also already interested in kind of like theater and arts and everything, or was it kind of like a different path for you?
Yeah, I was always interested in theater. I was in band. I was, always encouraged to take leadership positions, and if there was like an organization, join it, or if there was a leadership position in that organization, join it. And I guess that growing up in Ohio, just, good Midwestern Ohio values. My parents, were together, stayed together, still together. Something I got from both of them actually was having a great attitude, having a positive attitude going into things, and always, being proactive, and, never really like letting life get you down, and always keep moving forward.
I like that. Just kind of like continuing on and kind of like seeing the good, the good things in life. Now for like kind of like school, was it, were you guys close together? Did you guys have any differences in the beginning growing up? Or was it, you guys were just paired up the entire time?
We were the exact same person if you talk to people who didn't know us well. But no, we like a lot of times we were kind of always in the same activities, me and my brother, in like, band, theater, track and field. Rephrase your question again.
Oh, was it kind of like were you guys always kind of like, butting heads or anything? Were you guys, to have different views growing up?
Austin and I it was very important to our parents that we got into like no physical fights. So we never did any of that stuff because we'd get in major trouble. But we were, just generally speaking, we were like very close, did the same stuff, had a lot of the similar friends. Not really butting heads that much. No more than the average person, right? That's why we're in business together today, because we're so close.
And you guys kind of like see it as like a pro or a con? Because like some people are like, if they're two same people, like very similar views, very similar things, they might not see like the outcomes, like the bad side of things or anything. Or is it kind of like, hey, look, you guys are a double-edged sword and each side is able to kind of tackle on different problems?
We were certainly competitive with each other. I don't know if one of us had like a much greater strength than the other one. I guess like, maybe I was the more mischievous one growing up. Austin was the one who was like more by the book. I wouldn't necessarily get in trouble, but maybe I'd like walk the line a little bit harder.
Tell me a little bit about that, the mischievous side of you.
I just like always, joke around. I would like to be the class clown, but never the class clown that always got in trouble. And, kind of like make the teacher laugh. And, because me and Austin, our first original passion was filmmaking. That's why we moved out here to Los Angeles. And one time in college, we were in an acting class. And, in the acting class, you have to like, what is your type? Like, who cares how you see yourself? What do other people see you as to like get roles or whatever? And there's like classic types like, oh, this person easily a doctor, this person easily like a college person. That's the type. The one acting teacher said, I don't know why, but I just feel like, Aaron, you're the one who you're doing stuff to people, and Austin, you're the one where things are getting done to you. And, so yeah.
So like with the acting, kind of like the acting side, do you think that it kind of makes it to where sometimes you're mischievous, but then also at the same time you're like, it's like switching roles, right? Like switching personalities within a role. Do you see that happening in business sometimes too? Like you got to put on your BD hat, or you got to put on kind of like your marketing hat?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like what I just liked about what anybody would like about just like being mischievous or whatever. And I walked the line. I wasn't a troublemaker or anything. Is just like, enjoying life and like getting people's eyes to light up, and just making connections in that way. Again, if you can make the teacher laugh, I'm not the first to say this, if you can make the teacher laugh, then you're not going to get in that much trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of like just creating a fun environment for everybody so that it's just it's a good day, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like how did you so like what motivates you to kind of wake up every morning, like what's to pursue your goals, like what is your motivation?
Okay, so let me just tell you how I started the channel, and then that'll like lead me into like the motivation. I think Austin mentioned it when he did your podcast. I was the one who started the channel. I didn't really tell anybody about it. I started at the very beginning of 2018, maybe the worst time ever to start a crypto YouTube channel because people were leaving the market. Got to 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and then I finally told my family and Austin. The first thing Austin said to me was like, how many of those subscribers did you pay for? And I was like, none, dude. They're all legit. I invited him to do it with me, and we started the channel. Back then, we were both filmmakers, and I think Austin mentioned his survival job was a personal trainer. I was a bartender on weekends, and that's not like a job I wanted to have forever because it was like lame, couldn't do a lot of stuff on the weekends. And also like, I just felt like I need to like do something with my life, because actually that was it in 2017, the year before I started the channel. Me and my ex-girlfriend at that time, we had broken up, and all of a sudden I had like way more free time. And I was turning 27, and I was like, damn, I need to get something going with my life. So at first I thought, oh, maybe I can do like crypto trading, because that was during the 2017 run up. I didn't realize this at the time, but like we're getting towards like a bull market peak. That's why like the YouTube channels were popping off. And then so I noticed like in November, December, like literally near the peak, all these crypto YouTube channels were popping off. And I was like, damn, like some of those guys are really good, and some of those people are still here today. But some of those people, I thought like I could do what they're doing, like and do it better than they're doing and provide more value. And so I started the channel. And so like your original question, why do I do what I do? Why do I wake up every morning? I get a lot of pride and take a lot of pride in, just like the YouTube channel is a big part of my identity. I like talking about it. I love the game of being a content creator in general, and also crypto is such a cool sector to be a part of. And so I get a great sense of identity waking up every morning and growing the channel and just getting bigger and better.
So it's kind of like
you have a similar experience maybe with the Decentral?
Yeah, so like for us, we kind of started out just very grassroots community based. We just try to provide as much value as we can, because like whenever we did DeFi Summit, it was all about like, I wanted to learn more about DeFi. And that was the thing that kind of led us to finding a niche. And the niche was everyone was looking for the same thing, but it was like there was not a lot of content that was on at the moment that focused into the nitty gritty of like, all right, why does Uniswap work? What is an AMM? How does Compound work? So for us, it was just trying to bring together as many people that is knowledgeable within that space as much as possible. And for us, like I think we had like 300 plus speakers on there, and instead of making it to where it's a paid event, it was completely free in the beginning. And people were just like, when's the next one? When's the next one? When's the next one? So that's when it led up to kind of like a growth stage of us having physical conferences and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, so for your channel, so you started out with 1,000, and then afterwards you're starting to see like the growth potential of it. You're about to get Austin to come on and everything. What made you say, hey, look, I need you on here. I want to do this, and this is something that, I really want to grow.
I started with 0, not 1,000, but then I got to 1,000. And what made me, well, first of all, I had a great sense, I think in retrospect, of vision at the time. I was like, I know that I can get to 10,000 subscribers, then 100,000 subscribers, possibly 1 million subscribers. And so I was like, I know this is going to work. And so it's like, inviting Austin, you don't have to get left behind. I was like, feel free to, jump on board and do this with me. And then the other thing, like I knew, because Austin and I grew up together, obviously, like we have an understanding. We don't even need to talk about it. The understanding of like the work ethic that's expected and the trust. And at the time I was the one who made a video every day. And, obviously I couldn't get to it every day just doing it by myself. So I was like, bringing Austin on, I know that, if we did every other day, like that could really work.
So it was kind of like taking a little bit of the load off of you, but also at the same time, you guys are growing this brand together, right? Like you guys are growing Altcoin Daily together. And
like the Tate brothers, except without the lewd or questionable charges.
Yeah, I think they're going through some stuff right now, and but yeah, like we're not gonna get to that level, but as in like those scandals and stuff. But for you, it was kind of like, so you onboarded him, and afterwards as well, was there any early challenges that you guys kind of like faced and wanted to like let people know about? Just because like there's gonna be potentially a lot of content creators that are gonna be coming up, and for them it's like the early pain points, right? The early struggles that you would like to address.
Yes. Tons of challenges coming up. And again, I want to remind the audience, if you're watching on YouTube, like this video, because we do want to beat Austin, and then go watch his, and then can compare. But I mean, dude, so many challenges coming up. I mean, first of all, I would just say in general, like until you everything that you're unfamiliar with doing, stuff out of your comfort zone, always seems so daunting until you actually do it. And then it's like, why wasn't I doing this like a whole lot sooner? Like for instance, with like the video editing. Like I came from like a filmmaking background, but I never like edited my own stuff. And I always thought, and even like in high school and stuff, we used to like make our own videos on cameras and edit them up and make videos. But I didn't do the editing. And I always thought that was like such a like out there thing. I could never learn how to do it. And we do all our own editing. And that's how it originally started too. You can go through the channel and see how the editing, sucked relatively speaking back then. And it's just like gotten a whole lot better. And I guess like the thing is, just go for it, try it, like, and because that's the biggest thing. Like, how do I then start like, generating interview guests and all these things? It just seems so daunting. I say just go for it. And that's like just a broad challenge that anybody can overcome. And especially if you're young and you like are starting out, there's no pressure when you're just starting out a YouTube channel because nobody watches you. You can like embarrass yourself all the time.
I remember when I was like, I first started my YouTube channel at like 12 or 13. And back then I didn't know what I was doing. I was like learning how to edit. I remember seeing some of the early videos. I was like, man, what was I doing? Like I should have learned more. But then over time, like everyone gets better and better and better. And one of my videos hit like 1 million plus views. I basically used it to where I placed in a song and then I did song lyrics. So that's why I generated so much views, because of the song. But like over time, I started seeing editing going better and better and better. And I also saw the progression of your video content as well. It's like, I really, really love the recent one where you just make it to where there's like hard hitting facts and it shows like the sound effect. It has like the background music and everything.
Oh, thanks, man.
And like, how did you guys like kind of switch over to that format? Was it something from like others, or was that something that you guys were like, hey, we need to switch up the format pretty quickly?
Guys, I know like a lot about crypto now. I knew a little bit about crypto then, but what I really know about is like YouTube. So like all like regarding why we do what we do, everything that we do and every direction we take, it's for a reason. And generally speaking, you got to have influences, dude. You wouldn't start a band without first having influences. And it's important that your influences be on many different levels, because if you just have the biggest influences, the people with 1 million subscribers, that's going to be daunting. It's like, I can never do that because they have awesome production and everything. So you have like the top tier influence, you have the kind of an influence around your area, and then even an influencer who's like below you and the influencer to you for the content. And like, you just, like that's the way to like see what's going on and like make your videos engaging. Because like the sound stuff, it's just because I like different like YouTube channels that have nothing to do with crypto that use sound, whether they're like criminal psychology or whatever it is. And I just, you know, you start thinking, like, why do I like this? Why am I still watching? Oh, they got like interesting music. Oh, they got like a hard cut with like a different sound, and like I get a pattern interrupt. So I'm still, I don't zone out. I'm still watching. And so yeah, like everything we do, it's just, and then like once we do it, and it's like, oh my God, that worked really well. And then like if Austin did it or I did it, they're like, hey, maybe we'll put this in the rotation and like keep trying it out and you always like, I think the secret to, you know, doing a YouTube channel is you never want to, you know, just be always like, you know, you're not trying for, you could do it this way, but like you're not trying to make a piece of art with your videos, in that you're, you know, you don't want to do analysis paralysis, you know, be a perfectionist. Just do as well as you can, get it out there, and then keep calibrating over time. So it's not like you're going to be stagnant and not get better, but like just figure out stuff and keep going and just like keep that momentum going. And then it also, like a different thing was, you mentioned like the question was like, what are some of the problems you encountered as you were coming up? I would say for crypto specifically, but also you can say this as a content creator generally, mainstream content creators have problems with this. Don't like be very hesitant to take any like fast money. Like, you know, fast money comes with slow problems. And there are content creators in 2017 who were like shilling scammy stuff. And like, you know, like the way I've always tried to do it, it's going to be a slower growth, but we're always going to disclose. We're always going to be straightforward and ethical with our audience. And I think that's like something that's really helped us over time. Like we could have maybe made way more money in 2020 or something, but, you know, slower growth, and that, you know, building a, you know, a solid reputation. And, you know, I think that's key as well.
And that's what I respect about you guys. It's like, I'd rather have something that my audience is going to be okay with than to just, hey, take the fast lane for it. And like there has been a lot of content creators that do take that fast lane. And for us, it's like, we see it as like their community starts slowly over time going, you know, they're dwindling, going down and everything. But it's like, I'd rather provide something, or, you know, you guys as well, is like, we always want to provide something that's going to be of value to our community, because then it helps, you know, it helps them get educated. They learn a little bit more about it. We put disclosures there and everything, so that they know what's going on.
I appreciate you saying that, you know, you watch our channel from time to time. What other like crypto YouTube channels or podcasts do you like? Because you're in the industry, dude, you know what's going on. So I'm surprised that you're like, you know, into podcasts or YouTube channels.
Yeah, so for me, I basically I watch your videos every day. I have for the past, I would say like year. So just FYI, like every single video. One of the ones that I kind of like also as well is like the Modern Investor. So for him, it's just kind of like a no-cut approach of like, hey, look, I'm just going to tell you how it is. And
my influence. Before I started the channel, I used to watch him in 2017, and he was an example of one of the good channels in 2017, dude. I love the Modern Investor.
And I love how we just like straightforward with it too. So it's like, it's not no sugarcoating. It's like, hey, this could happen, this could happen. But at the same time, do your own due diligence. But this is my point of view on it. And that's what I want. I want like not like, you don't have to sugarcoat it and everything. You just tell me the raw facts, the straight truth about it. And that's what you guys also do as well. Like whenever you guys are providing the news, it's literally just, hey, look, here's what's saying on CNN. Here's what's happening on here. Here's what's happening on here. You guys also give your opinion on it as well. But it's like, it's not like you're paid to make that opinion, right? It's more of like, this is coming from us and what we feel would be a part of it. Because then it gives you, it gives the audience a sense that you are in the market. You're not just, you know, placing it up there and then not understanding what it is.
And that's a fine line that, you know, like I said, you know, be wary of fast money. Also, like, it'd be a lot easier to like say outrageous predictions, which, you know, some people do. And there's some better channels and worse channels that, you know, it's very easy to get clicks saying outrageous predictions. And we're not like the most white bread about that, because our thumbnails and titles are super engaging. Because, you know, I'm on YouTube, I'm trying to get people to actually click the video, but then when you click the video, you know, like, I don't know how people can make predictions so much, because like literally like everything always changes all the time.
Yeah, I also watch Ben Cohen. So whenever he does like his charting and everything, it's interesting for me because like it's different perspectives, right? It shows also like Data Dash. Like they show different perspectives. Some of them could be bull, some of them could be bear, but they give you at least the reasons why. So like even for yours, like whenever you click on the video, you already have it in the title, like this is what I'm going to be talking about, compared to like, hey, Bitcoin is going to go to X, Y, and Z, but then they have like 5 seconds of the segment talking about it, and then it's like on to the next thing, right? Like this is the reason why we created this video, and this is what we're diving into. So it gives them, the sense of the subject of the video. And I think that marketing always has like that the three components, which is basically the kind of like the hook, story, and then offer. So like the hook of it is basically, of course, thumbnails and titles and everything. The story is where you're diving into what you were talking about. And then the offer at the same time, whether it's joining a community, liking things, to help the creator continue on producing content. And I think you guys hit all three of them pretty well.
Thank you, man. That's something like regarding what you said, what the title is about or what the topic of the video is about. That's actually what's being talked about throughout the video. That's something that I've like learned just by doing it. Like if the title is about one thing, but then halfway through we switch to something else, there is like a lot of retention drop off. However, if the video title is about many different things, like these are like the top altcoins making news, they will tend to watch the whole thing because they want to click and see each piece of information. But if it's just about the White House and then all of a sudden I switch to talking about social finance or something, there is like a drop off. So it's the calibration, just trying to figure out what works, what people want to pay attention to.
Yeah, and it's always tweaking and kind of like trying out different things and making sure that you're always A/B testing. So like you're trying out different content, you're trying out different styles. But that's why I like the way that you guys are producing videos now, because I feel like every single period that you guys are switching it up, making it new, adding new content in, and I really like the structure you currently have right now too.
Dude, appreciate that. And this was another like big problem with some YouTubers and podcasters who are less successful than other ones, like back in the day in 2018 and stuff, or even now. And this even like Bitcoin maximalist type content, Bitcoin maximalists in general have this attitude. And it's like, this is the content I'm making, and if you don't watch it, you're either too dumb or you're just just dumb, I guess. But it's like, I don't see it that way. The point is, the way I always saw it, and I don't like content creators who have that attitude, it's like, I want to figure out what my audience wants to hear and what's going to be best for them to get this like video. Because like, I want to make content that people like get value and want to watch.
Yeah, and it's also educating your community over time too, right? So like you have people that are coming in that are brand new to crypto. You have people that are super advanced into crypto that watch the videos. So it's like you're tying all of the audiences together and seeing what balances work. But also at the same time, it's not like you're not bashing them, because like if you bash a community, it's kind of like you're opening the door to let them go. And it's like, I would rather, like what I did at Polygon was literally nurture the community. I was on there and literally telling them like every single day of like, all right, here's the information, here's the content, here's what it is. And slowly over time, they started to understand. And what happened was it led to a trickle down effect.
What did you do at Polygon?
So I used to do marketing with them. So from 2018 to 2020.
You literally took one of the top 5 most successful altcoins of all time and incubated it and put it out in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of different marketing campaigns that I used on there that a lot of people are still like, how the hell did he do it? But it's like, for me, it's like, I always see like, I love marketing, and I actually didn't stumble into it to where I was like growing up, I wanted to be in marketing, but it intrigued me once I got into it. And for me, it's like, I want to learn to be the best at whatever craft I'm going to create, or else it's like, like why be second best? I'd rather be the first place. And for me, it was learning as much as I can. So like there was a lot of trials and tribulations, but for community building, it's always about building the community with you. So if you start out as the first user base and it's all down here, it's like start trickling them up and start teaching them a little bit more, because then what's going to happen is that the ones that are above, once the next wave of people come in, they can kind of teach down. And that's what happened. It led to a trickle down effect of people just going into Telegram and just teaching each other and be like, look, this is what's happening. Oh, look, this is what I found. This, and that. It just led to, everyone wanting to be a part of it.
Totally. And even on YouTube, I mean, this is like a small part of what you're talking about, but the people teaching other people, that's something I say all the time in my videos, or every once in a while, in that there are crypto OGs who know what's going on. There are new people coming in space, and that's part of this nascent industry just blowing up, which is cryptocurrency. And I tell the people in our audience, to stimulate engagement as well. Guys, teach the new people, like, tell people why you're not aping into a small coin if that's what you think, or just like help people understand in the comments. We're a community building and learning together.
Because that's how it leads to mass adoption, is people teaching people. You can't just have one person teach the whole world. It's going to take a whole army to kind of teach everybody. And, like, so now this helps me dive into this question. So like, who kind of like inspires you in the beginning to get into crypto? Was it something that you found? Like, how did you first get into crypto?
Yeah, so first heard about Bitcoin, I believe, when I was in college, maybe around 2013, 2014, who knows when it was, but I remember I was in the fraternity's computer lab, and on Reddit, on the front page of Reddit back then, they talked about the Bitcoin pizza story, and it might have even been like just the year anniversary of the guy paying 10,000 Bitcoins for pizza, and just, the news story was Bitcoin is like a real thing. And I remember I think I was with my friend Brian, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but I never thought about it again, like didn't know it was like the future or even investable. And so then it was in 2017, and me and my ex-girlfriend at that time broke up. All of a sudden had a lot more free time, so I was just like, and I wanted to like make something out of my life, or get something going. So like, it was my friend, it was there's two different things. One, me and my friend Justin in Los Angeles were heading to the Improv, a comedy club, to see Jake and Amir, two of my favorite like comedy writers from College Humor. They were like doing like a live podcast. And I remember in 2017, the Uber driver was telling us about like Firecoin or something. He was like, I've 3x my money on Firecoin. I was like, oh, cool. That sounds awesome. And 5 stars, And then the other thing was I worked with this one guy named Luan, and he was getting into crypto trading, and he seemed to know a lot about it at the time. And I was like really curious, like, what he knew. So he kind of helped like show me the ropes. And I mean, some things he knew well and some things he didn't know well. I remember in the top of the market in 2017, he's like, dude, you got to get into Verge. John McAfee just tweeted about it. And I was like, oh, should I? And obviously there was a major pump. But so those are my two stories, how I found crypto, the Uber driver and my one friend Luan. And then after that, dude, I like just, really, I don't know, dude, I'm just like a nerd about it. I just like thought it was like such a cool budding industry to be a part of.
Now, what made you say, okay, cool, like crypto's now here? Because like after you first heard about it, you're like, all right, I'm not too into it and everything. You dabbled a little bit, but what made you really say, hey, look, whether it's like that 1,000 mark channel for the subscribers, or which mark where you said, hey, look, I'm switching full time into this, like this is something that I really want to be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, it was equally crypto / YouTube, because I was looking to do like I thought YouTube was the future. I mean, here's the thing, we've been in a digital asset gold rush for the past, you can say 13 years when Bitcoin was created. But I also think and thought like 5-6 years ago, we're in a content creation gold rush where it's only getting easier to record yourself and it's only getting easier to edit. And I realized that I was like, it's only going to get easier. And I thought, and I still think this, everybody's going to have their own YouTube channel or TikTok, whatever it is in the future, and it's just going to get that much easier. So I was always looking to get into YouTube. And I've had like, me and my brother have had different like comedy sketch channels through the years, Humor Endorphins, and used to make videos in high school. And then also like in 2016, I thought like, oh, maybe I can do like a cooking channel, because I like used to enjoy like watching like YouTube cooking channels, and I thought I could bring my own creative spin. But I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, that's so much production. I gotta have a clean kitchen. I gotta get the ingredients. I gotta film it, have all these slick shots, all these slick editing. I was like, this is like weeks and weeks of prep for one thing. I don't think the risk reward, or not the risk reward, the work versus reward seems worth it. And so it's like, the point is, getting into YouTube really helped me stay with crypto, because it's easy like to kind of tune out even in bear markets for crypto. But the fact that I was just like, it was motivating to me, something really motivating to me. And this is also why I like being a bartender, is the instant gratification you get at the end of the night when you get your tips. It's like, okay, like immediate reward. And that's what I like about YouTube channel, the back end analytics. As soon as I publish a video, I can see the views start rolling in. After a bit of time, I can see the subscribers that joined because of that video. And so that's what kept me motivated on a day-to-day, and kept me motivated learning about cryptocurrency. I don't understand why some people say only Bitcoin. I don't understand why some people are saying DeFi is the future back in 2020. Like, let me figure this out, make videos along the way to help my audience understand. And that's what really helped me stick with crypto, by building the YouTube channel around it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the educational side, right? It's like, don't tell me what to do, but give me the news so that I can make my own decisions. And that's what you kind of like cultivate your community towards. Because like I remember first stumbling upon your videos, and for me, I was like, huh, like they're not shilling me anything. They're actually giving me pieces of information. And it's like it's daily. It's not something that's gonna be like, all right, well, I'll do it once a week, I'll do it once a month. I don't know when the next piece of information is gonna be. You guys do it daily, and has that been kind of like a struggle for you, or just especially with having stuff day to day, having relationships and everything, is the daily content something that's like is it kind of like a struggle to you, or is like you guys already mastered the ropes?
That's wild, dude. Daily content, like the standard on YouTube, I feel is like once a week or maybe twice a week if you're feeling really tenacious, and you can even do it less or whatever, but like that's if you're doing it on a regular basis, twice a week at max. So daily, that's a big thing. And before I say, I just want to say, I appreciate what you said about us, the kind words, but we're not perfect. So like, don't, there's plenty to critique about our channel. We're trying our best, and we're just trying to like grow together. And when you make content every day, you can look back at some old content and be like, oh, that wasn't the best take or whatever. That's or that wasn't like, why'd you cover that? That coin's dead now. But you learn as you go. But as far as daily content goes, dude, it is a real grind sometimes, man. It is a real grind sometimes, but the rewards, the sense of identity, the everything that comes with it, being smarter, investing in crypto, it's worth it. So it is a grind every day, but I wouldn't want to give it up because my life is orders of magnitude better now that I do it.
Now, like how you said, you won't give it up, but let's say, just in case, hypothetically, if there was anything else that you could do that would kind of like fulfill the passion, and money's not a factor of it, would you switch over to anything, whether it's acting, whether it's cooking again?
Not cooking, but yeah, dude, I think I would always want to do some capacity of YouTube, or like getting myself out there making content where I have a direct relationship with the audience. I think I'll always do that because I really like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be crypto YouTube, I guess. It could be just more about like my general interests streaming to the audience, whether it's going over news, political news, entertainment, whatever. I mean, I don't do that now because a lot of those types of content things or reaction channels, they're very oversaturated. So it'd really be hard to break through. So crypto's a good niche. Also like, yeah, I mean, I guess I would do like acting and filmmaking as well. The original love, I'd be down for that as well.
What do you think about kind of like a lot of these film companies and companies in Hollywood looking at crypto to kind of have like films being pushed out, and especially with like the SAG protest and everything going on? What are your views of like having crypto integrated into film and entertainment?
I am definitely for it. Austin and I have been attached to two different things, like merging Hollywood and crypto. One kind of fell through, which was a scripted series about kind of like Entourage in Silicon Valley, except crypto style, like people coming up in Hollywood using crypto in the film thing. That fell through. The other thing is Killer Whales, which is like a Shark Tank type show that is like happening and being released probably in January at this point. That's going to be like tight, dude. Like I've seen the first episode already. It's going to be awesome. Generally speaking, here's some sirens maybe. Generally speaking, as far as Web3 merging with Hollywood, I thought in like 2021 and 2022, a lot of different Web3 native companies, like they kind of started that. Gala Games is doing that a little bit. They're doing it like better than many others. Kind of got a little like, there wasn't like a direct, it kind of got like frothy, like just the initial like pitch deck or whatever. This is what we're going to do. And then I was like, well, like what you're really talking about is just basically like a different way to like fundraise, which is kind of a good idea. I've produced my own films and stuff, or collecting money from hopefully more than friends and family to make like an awesome piece of art. And so like if you can get like an NFT or whatever, or you have some sort of ownership in the project, that is a really good idea. I haven't seen it implemented on a mainstream level just yet, but that's something I'm definitely looking forward to, because Hollywood does have a big problem in general with tons of middlemen and tons of just studios controlling anything. So any way that we can distribute and open source that's a great idea. And as far as the strike going, I mean, that's, an example of the studios not wanting to pay actors in various ways, like making it so the writers don't get paid, the actors don't get paid, because everything is streaming now. Everything's new media, not a regular network or cable TV. So they're not, because people are choosing to watch Netflix and Amazon and not on cable TV. The SAG, the union rules, like the pay you get way less. So it is like a real problem. Not to mention artificial intelligence, where they're saying, oh, we can use your likeness in perpetuity forever. That's obviously a bad thing. I mean, I don't know how we're going to get past AI in general, though, because I feel like at a certain point AI is just going to be able to create people that look like they exist but don't exist at all. They won't be infringing on my likeness, but then I wouldn't get hired if they're just creating these people that look like real people. So I don't know.
I think that AI does have it's still like a early phase of it, but there are people that are like, hey, look, it's now starting to get into movies, songs, and everything. I feel like the creativity side of it, like the authenticity side, will then eventually, like, we're gonna have a flood of content of just AI generated stuff, and what's gonna happen is that people are gonna start to change their tuning, especially with like views and everything, that they'll start seeing the difference between human created portions and things that are going to be automated. And I feel like over time it's just for us to evolve around the thinking of what is real content, what is fake content. But it could get pretty close to it. I think that one of the things that they can't do is cultivate communities like we are as individuals and people, because we bring it's like in the hospitality industry, it's like that human element, right? Like if you go to like a southern Texas, country fried steakhouse or something, you have someone that's going to be there, and it's going to be more authentic and it's more homely, more lively, compared to if I just went to a restaurant that just has a robot bartender, right? Just making the cocktails for me. It's like, what if I wanted to sit down and talk to the bartender? Like, how would this happen?
Yeah. And I actually think, like, dude, I'm worried about content. I'm worried about like 50 years from now with AI, content creators in general, because I do feel like, eventually it's all going to be worked out where there's just going to be like a fake AI person who's like streaming to you, and they're never going to age, and they're always going to be talking to like the young generation, or even like thinking about it more, lewdly from like a monetary level, like just like, oh, make an OnlyFans girl or guy who never ages and they can always just collect money forever, like, and it's just like a robot. Like, whoever's getting into that business, I think they're going to make a lot of money, and overall I don't know how that's going to like just wreck the content creator market, but we'll see.
And think about humans as well. It's like we always evolve whenever kind of like circumstances or obstacles come our way. It's like we evolve to kind of like switch and adapt, right? So like if we don't adapt, we might fall behind on the trend or kind of like fall behind the cycles, but eventually everyone does kind of like slowly switch up. So tell me about kind of like killer whales, and how did that kind of like come into play with you guys, and how is it going so far with it as well?
Dude, it's going great. Yeah, we're producers and judges on it. It's basically like the Web3 version of Shark Tank. I know there's different iterations going around. Some people coming to market, some people it's just an idea. And like we didn't invent, the concept of Shark Tank. Anybody can do it, but like the way we're doing it, we've already filmed it. I've seen the first episode. It's really, really slick. And I credit it to the creator of the show, the guy who originally came to us, named Paul Caslin, who is the executive producer and creative director of the VMAs, MTV's VMAs, which actually he's working on right now, and I think those are like in a couple weeks. But he came to us because we were originally attached to that other scripted project, and he heard us talking about that one time, maybe at Decentral, Texas, and he was like, oh, these guys are producing that, maybe they want to produce this with me. And he brought it up to us, and met at the Soho House in West Hollywood, and we're like, yeah, dude, we were immediately interested in being judges, like producing it with them. We weren't sure, but he had a really strong vision, and we shot it, and originally it was set to be released in October. I think I was just talking with him the other day. I think it's going to be released in January, because he wanted it's still kind of like bear market vibes, and he didn't want any sort of like rush with it, and really like you only get to like launch for the first time once, so we thought like January would be good. And hopefully it's his company is Hello Labs. It's going to be token gated behind the Hello Labs website, but also like the goal initially, but also the goal is to get it is in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Like some people go more for like money, some people go for more like distribution. The goal is distribution, hopefully, I mean, definitely for sure, Amazon, at least one of these, Amazon, Netflix, Apple, if not more than one.
And you kind of like seen since like 20, we've been here since 2017 and everything. So you've seen kind of like project kind of increase in the way that their creativity, their preparedness as well. Because like I remember 2017 was, I call it the white paper in a dream phase, where you just throw a white paper and you just get funded like crazy. And it's like, everyone was, everything was going on, so many things that were going on with it. But then once you start seeing the bear market phases, you start seeing people start consolidating down, getting a more precise plan. How do you feel like the market is going right now in terms of like how the companies are presenting themselves?
Like on the show or just generally?
On the show and also in general too.
Yeah, on the show, unlike Sharks on Shark Tank, we're not investing in the projects ourselves for this first season. Just didn't want to deal with that regulatory, headache or whatever. And also, on the show itself, we're not talking a lot about tokenomics and token speculation for also regulatory reasons. The show is equally like education and entertainment first, and then actually us diving into, is this project investable second, because we're not investing and we can't get into certain things you would want to know. I think generally speaking, projects that come across my email and my Telegram, they're a lot more focused now. They're like have a lot seemingly more capable teams. There's examples of different things already working in the market, so you can like, obviously we know that there's Ethereum needs L2s. There's good ones right now. There's tons of ideas for L2s at the moment, or L1s. I mean, the quality projects now are orders of magnitude better, in my opinion. And you can really tell that by the people building and backing them.
Now, do you think that's going to lead to more of a Web 2.5 type of phase where you're starting to see a mix of kind of like the Web 2 element come into Web 3, or is it something that we're going to dominate and separate from the traditional industry?
No, I do think there's going to be a Web 2.5 aspect because, I mean, just generally speaking, we need to integrate with the regular world if, we're going to grow and crypto is going to get adopted. And, like friend tech on Ethereum, Coinbase L2 base integrating with Twitter. So you need like a Twitter account. I think we're going to see like stuff like that where they're going to build on the audiences and where people are on Web 2 and kind of, varying degrees of decentralization. But I think ultimately that's what we do need to see. I mean, if Bitcoin's going to get to $100,000 someday, the legacy system needs to buy in, and they are in that process. But if it was just us plebs buying Bitcoin, perhaps we could still get there one day, but it's going to come a whole lot faster. And, it's just going to be better. It's like not everything can be 100% decentralized. I don't need the game I'm playing to be 100% decentralized like I would like the money, or the store value like Bitcoin or whatever.
Now, speaking of that, kind of like decentralization, what is your stance on like kind of like, you kind of briefly touched on it, like everything decentralized, not everything decentralized. What if, a Web 2.5 or something like that comes in and says now instead of friend tech integrating into Twitter, it's something that's integrating into YouTube? Would that be something that would be interesting, or what's your take?
Yeah, I think I would be. I don't know, like why friend tech got popular for like a couple weeks and maybe all of on-chain summer. I'm still on it. I don't know if other people are, but like, dude, I mean, YouTube would actually be better for me. Yeah, it's like Twitter's good because there's like that element of crypto Twitter, but like YouTube is like definitely where most of our audience is. And I would definitely be interested in it if it was cool. But like, I still don't precisely know why friend tech caught on as opposed to there's different things, like there's XCAT, there's there's just different things. I don't know. But if it was good, like, here's the thing with these social media platforms, you need the creators to come on. And I've got pitched 100 times, like, and I've, worked with some companies in various capacities, us like posting on there and introducing our audience to these other things. And most of them haven't worked out. Like friend tech is doing better than most of them that I've seen. And so I'm like skeptical in general that like that stuff can work because I know what it takes to grow YouTube audience for one channel and know what you need to grow a platform, and you need that network effect and people coming on. So I'm skeptical in general. Ultimately, I do think that, I mean, the innovation and the popularity of friend tech gave me hope. I was like, yeah, I could see, I don't know if this is it, but this is better than BitClout. This is better than Steemit. I can see something like this being popular in the future. So I love experimenting. I think that's the way you can be successful in crypto. Don't, spur the trends. Get involved early with the trends, and take a step back early too, but try stuff out, because that's the only way you really can learn.
Yeah, and for me, it's like I ran a social test on like most of the platforms. Like whenever there's a brand new one, like Threads was on there for a little bit, and then everyone kind of jumped off of Threads. I ran a test on Threads. I also ran a kind of like a marketing community test on friend tech as well, and like it gives you a lot of conclusions of like what the early phases of it would be, what problems they would have on there and everything. But I posted them into like some of our groups and everything, just to kind of like let other people know about it. It's like, this is what I kind of like came upon. But yeah, it's like, jumping on the trends, kind of like getting early into each one of them, trying to create a community on there. But do you think that later on it's going to be too many different channels? Like, let's say you have like 50 different social media platforms, or are you going to gravitate more towards the one that's, the bigger pull for each?
Yeah, I mean, I gravitate towards, like, YouTube does two things really well, generally speaking, for content creators, and different other successful platforms like TikTok probably do this stuff well too. But what YouTube does really well is, one, like monetization through just the AdSense, just the commercials. At least you get something. And it's like, YouTube's notoriously bad for it's not that great, but compared to the others, it's like better. And then also what they do really well is discoverability, that they will put your content out there and you can grow an audience, and that's what they do really well. And so as a content creator, that's the only way I create content on a platform, if those two things were, if I could see a path with those two things. And then the only reason anybody would ever get on a platform is if there was a creator that they liked. So however these platforms can get the creators and get the network effects, and it's so hard to do, dude. I wish I knew. Like, is it all going to just consolidate to YouTube and maybe X and maybe TikTok? Because I mean, we're seeing a consolidation into YouTube, in the past few years, I think, which I think is for good reason, because there's a lot to, it's good to be a content creator on YouTube versus the others. But yeah, dude, it's hard to say.
Now, speaking of content creators, I forgot to ask this question earlier. It's like, who's your kind of like top people that you view on YouTube, whether it's just regular non-crypto channels or also like crypto channels as well?
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's tons of people I watch, just tons and tons of people in crypto and not in crypto. Dude, there's so many. Like, I guess like lately, dude, I was in on H3 early on when they had 60,000 subscribers and were still in Israel making content. And they're one of the biggest reacting channels right now. I like political content. I like, right and left political content. For the left, like David Pakman or Kyle Kalinske. I love like video essay things where they break down why a show is good or why a movie's good. For crypto, the people that I was watching coming up in 2017, I'm not condoning these people or saying they're good or bad. Maybe if you know them, you can figure it out. But the people I used to watch, and by the way, if they're still around today, they're probably good. The people that I used to watch in 2017 were like The Modern Investor, Ivan on Tech, Superman, Crypto Crow, and tons of others. I love podcasts like Bankless or What Bitcoin Did. And dude, I mean, there's so many, dude.
Now, since you guys are kind of like, I would say like one of the top ones currently at this moment, where are you guys taking inspiration from? So like, is there any other channels, or is it going to be more of like, you're now going towards the 10 million, 15 million, 20 million marks as like your next progression for who you're viewing as content wise? Early on,
I used to watch, it's so important to have influences early on. And Michael, I'd encourage you to have influences for this podcast, and to see what people are clicking on, and to see like how they do their intros and everything, to, not to plagiarize, but to take good ideas and make it your own, and recognize things you don't really like and say, okay, I'm not going to do that. I still do that. I don't do it as much as before because I don't want to get necessarily influenced by their takes on the market, because now I'm pretty capable of doing my own research and forming my own thoughts. But I'm sorry, I forgot the exact question, but that's kind of the way I do it.
Oh, so like which ones are you kind of like, because like earlier you're saying having influences, so you can kind of like, it's not plagiarizing and copying, but you're starting to see like different things like higher production value. But like who do you follow now, or like kind of like take inspiration from now that you're at the level of like, you're up here, one of the top creators on YouTube for crypto? Do you take it more from like the Hollywood side for like production value of each one of them?
I take a lot from video. I've listened to tons of Mr. Beast stuff because it gives away so much good alpha for free. I take a lot from just like video essays of criminal psychology, or breaking down different TV shows with like the music and the sound effects and like the quick cuts in the beginning or whatever. I mean, there's tons of like crypto podcasts and YouTube channels I listen to now. They do influence me on titles and thumbnails and stuff. Like, there's tons of great ones. There's the infamous BitBoy going through some stuff right now. I don't know when this is coming out. There's Crypto Wendy. There's Ivan on Tech, Lark. I love Blockworks podcast, and then like Bankless, what Bitcoin did, and yeah, dude. I tend to like try and listen to and watch as much as possible, even if it's just 1 or 2 episodes every once in a while.
That's great, because like for me, it's like I watch you guys every single day, by the way, every single one of the videos, because like for me, I also see the hard work that's placed into it. Like, so it's not like I see the small things, like whether it's going to be editing the description, whether it's going to be, because I watch it all the way to the end. So like I also see the ending of each one of them, how it kind of drops off, how it kind of goes. You
always say that, dude. That's so cool that you watch until the end.
Yeah, I always watch until the end, because like for me, it's like, how do I, like, you guys are giving me free value by watching this video. So how do I support you guys? The best way is to watch it to the end, or even if not, I will comment on there and say, hey, look, like, giving it my take on something as well. It's like to try to interact and connect, because then it helps you guys grow, because you guys are giving us free value. Like, YouTube videos are not gatekept. It's all free. It's all on there for anyone to view. It's public. So it's like, how do I give, basically, whether it's my retention, whether it's my time, whether it's my network, to share, like, subscribe, things like that, to help them too, because I want to see more of these content.
Yeah, dude, totally, man. I appreciate that. And that's a small, you don't have to do everything. Don't stress yourself out trying to like, comment, share, and do everything. But any given video, the best way to help that creator, you don't have to give them any money. Just like it, comment it if you can, watching till the end, a big thing, and sharing a video on your social media, like that's like a crazy helpful thing. Guys, for Michael, share this video on your social media. Let's blow up this podcast.
He's trying to beat his brother, all right? So views, content, like everything, like, so views, likes, subscribes, everything, to kind of push him out of the water and be like, hey, look, now we're gonna have to come back for V2.
I hope Austin's video on this channel, his interview, is the second most popular, because I know that you're interviewing some heavy hitters, dude. The Polygon, Sandeep, was it? Like, that interview is fire, dude.
Thank you. And Sandeep was really surprised too. He's like, a lot of different types of like podcasts or kind of like formats are always asking about the company. And he's like, it's a refreshing type of take to just ask about me and how my day was, or how things are going with me, and learning more about me. And like for me, it's like everyone, whenever you're creating a company or going through, creating the growth process, it's always about, all right, this and that for the company. But it's like the individual behind it is the one that has the passion and has the fire to drive that innovation. So for me, it's like finding out more about the person is more valuing than to find out about the company, because like some VCs even say this is like they invest into the person, even though there's like multiple projects that they work on. They invest into the person because they feel like the person has the drive and the compassion and the commitment to push on to the next level, compared to a product idea, which could be, you could have 5 or 6 different Uniswaps, but only one of them is Uniswap.
And it's such like a simple thing, but so important that, just so many people, so many of my friends through the years have come to me going like, I think this would be a good idea for a YouTube channel. I'm going to do this. And perhaps it is a really good idea, but really what it comes down to is the rubber meeting the road and the person actually doing it. Like, yeah, it could be a great idea for Uniswap, but like, is this person going to take it to the next level? Is, like, are you going to, like, for a YouTube channel, make a video every day or every week or regularly for, years? And are you going to be able to calibrate and let it grow? Are you going to take this idea and actually be able to build it and market it and get people interested in it?
And it's also like the commitment, right? Like, you guys do it daily. like compared to, it's not Altcoin Weekly, it's Altcoin Daily, right? You guys do it daily. So the commitment, it shows that you guys are there to commit to this at a very hard and very high caliber level too, because like each episode is very different, right? It's not the same type of news, because once again, news hits, especially like during slow periods or even during high growth periods as well. It's like there's constant sources of news to push through, but you guys push through like eloquently. So it's like, even if there's 100 articles that are posted that day, you guys are able to pick out the top 5.
Totally. And yeah, it's content creators who in crypto who are just seasonal, come with the bull market. That's fine. It's inevitable. But you never know when that bull market or bull run is going to hit. Like in 2019, when Bitcoin rallied from like 6,000 up to 14,000, that was a run nobody ever thought would happen by the time. And that was a great time to be making content, because all of a sudden the interest was back with one pump. But if you weren't making content just on a regular basis, you missed half the pump, like I saw it. And you really miss, it's just like you're leaving audience, you're leaving money on the table by not consistently doing it, because in crypto specifically, by the time you realize it's happening, the opportunity is halfway over.
And what are your kind of like, so what would be a quote that you live by? So for example, for me, it's if a man has nothing, like a man can have $1 million and then he can have $0, but the only thing that he can have left that is worth of value is his word. If the man loses his word and also money and also all those things, he's no longer he's worthless. So like you can have no money in crypto. Let's say hit a bear market and all of your money's gone and stuff, but you still have your word. You still have, a chance of getting back. But so that's what I live by. It's basically like your word is kind of like, word has value. So what would you kind of like say as a quote that you kind of live by?
I would say 2 different things. I'll give you a quote and I'll give you a word. The word is attitude. In that, nothing happens to you, things just happen, and it's up to you. How do you react to that? And it's very easy to get in a negative attitude, and it's very easy to get discouraged. Everybody gets discouraged, but having a positive, proactive attitude and being open to things, it's so important. So attitude. And then the quote I'd say is, man, I could probably think of it even a different quote later, but I definitely live by this one. If this used to be up on our mirror in the Phi Psi house in college in our fraternity, and every morning I'd see, if it is to be, it's up to me. Nobody's gonna, if you have a business or whatever, nobody's gonna make it successful for you. Nobody's going to tell people about it for you. It's literally the person who has to care about it is it's just you. So if it is to be, it's up to me.
I like that. It shows the personal persistence of it.
In college, when I was like 19, or no, I was 21 years old in college, I used to, say that right before I took the beer pong shot. If it is to be, it's up to me. But nowadays, I use it in business.
Right before you do it, it's like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
Trying to sink it in. But I want to ask you one final question to kind of like use as a key takeaway for everybody. So everyone that's listening in, that's looking to become a content creator, or even getting into crypto as well in general, what general piece of advice would you want to give them?
If you're really young, like the get started content, like the reason young people are so successful in content creation is they got nothing but time. They got no families, not a lot of responsibilities. So if you think you're interested in it, even at all, get started early and try different stuff. Like I said, I used to think editing was a very daunting thing that I could never do. I was more like in front of the camera. Then when I started doing it, I was like, I should have been doing this years ago. It's so much easier and so much more cost effective. So you don't have to have that pay somebody right up front to edit, and you really learn how to even talk to editors once you eventually hire them. So get started right away is important. And then like other advice, I mean, dude, I have so much advice for content creators, but really it's really easy to get discouraged in content creation as well, because just like going to the gym, you're not going to think you're getting the results that you think you deserve. And that's why a lot of people go to the gym and they drop off after a couple of weeks. That's why a lot of channels drop off. But I would say, just like going to the gym, if you go there multiple times a week, lift that weight every single day, you're going to get bigger. It is inevitable. So have influences, set goals for yourself. Like say, if you're just starting out, say, I'm gonna make a video once a week, every week for 6 months or a year, and do that no matter what. And then after that period of time, then you can reevaluate, but you don't wanna do it just for like 4 months and be like, oh, I'm not doing it. No, just keep going, keep doing it.
I want to ask one more because this one just popped into my mind. As like a motivational side of it, what would you kind of say for them to kind of like motivate them to say, hey, look, push past the next barrier and just start this or just do this?
Yeah, dude, I know what you're doing, dude. You only get one shot in life to make something of yourself. Okay. Yes, crypto is a digital asset revolution. Dude, but ask me it again. Content creation.
So, what would be like a piece of motivational advice that you would want to tell them that would just make them start now instead of just waiting?
So you might as well get started now. It's worth it.
See, that's where the hook story and offer kind of comes in. So you kind of like saw my thought processing with it, right? Like it's like everything's all about marketing.
I think just sometimes at the end of my interviews, I think like, oh, dude, it'd be so. I hardly ever say this because like I don't want to waste these people's time. But sometimes I think, dude, if I could just give you like just say these 3 sentences, it would make an awesome hook. But I never do it.
And then so the ones that are watching till this end, just comment on the bottom. It says Aaron got me all the way through, right? Or just something like that. Yeah, Aaron got me all the way through, and he's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'll be looking. I'll come back to this video in a couple weeks, and for those who did comment that, I'll try and comment underneath you.
There we go. So thanks for taking the time out today. I know you're extremely busy with your schedule, but thank you so much for providing a lot of insights and, for us to get a deeper dive into learning more about you as an individual and also kind of your grind, your passion, your commitment to creating content daily. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Michael. I'd encourage anybody watching from the Altcoin Daily audience to go subscribe to this podcast on YouTube and wherever else it's listed. And I would just say, thank you for having me on, Michael. I agreed to do this because I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of the Decentral conferences you and Justin put on. And after getting to know you, dude, you're a great guy. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to always provide as much value to we can to the community because like for me, it's like in the next 5 years, who is my friend group going to be? Who's the ones that I want to grow around? And for me, it's like always making sure that I stay around good actors because it helps us in the industry actually grow the industry instead of shrinking and taking value from it.
Totally.
So thanks, Aaron. So everyone, once again, I'll have all of the description on the bottom. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and go ahead.
We were almost through it. And then you said, thanks, Austin.
Oh, no, Aaron, so sorry.
It's okay. Our whole lives.
I'm so sorry about that. But everyone, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.